Real wealth almost never comes from a large salary. It comes from attention, intention, and a constant look at what is happening with your money. But the truth is harsh. Most people have no idea what is really happening with their dollars. They spend without realizing it, accumulate small invisible debts, make purchases that seem harmless, but that add up to a hole at the end of the month. And this happens for a simple reason. No one taught us that money does not tolerate neglect. It slips away. It evaporates. It disappears. The first law that shapes fortunes is direct and uncomfortable. Ignoring your money is the quickest way to lose control over it. And when control disappears, financial stress sets in. Anxiety, guilt, fear of the future. Many people live like this for years, without realizing that this cycle is not normal. It is just the consequence of not looking at their own numbers. Those who truly build wealth treat every penny like a chess piece. They know what can advance, what needs to be held onto, and what should be left out. You know the value of each monthly subscription, each automatic expense on your card, each hidden fee that the bank doesn't bother to explain. And you know this above all, that no one takes better care of their money than those who are truly attentive. This attention doesn't have to be obsessive. It just needs to be constant. It's not about living in fear of spending. It's about knowing why you're spending. It's about making decisions consciously, not on autopilot. And yes, most people prefer not to look, because looking requires responsibility, but ignoring has a high price. And those who don't pay this price now pay more later. In the next block, we'll talk about a law that can make anyone richer over time, even if they earn little. And it has nothing to do with luck. It has to do with a simple move that almost no one takes seriously until they see the results appear. The second law of wealth is brutally simple, but ignored by millions. Money that is not saved never grows. It comes, passes through your hands, and leaves. And when it does, it rarely comes back with company. Most people live waiting for the month to end, hoping that they will have some left over, and if they do, they might save it. But this is the mindset that traps people in an eternal rat race. Because money is never left over. There is always an excuse, an unforeseen event, an emotional expense disguised as a need. And so time passes, life changes, but the balance remains the same, or even worse. Millionaires think differently. They have reversed the logic. They save first, spend later. It doesn't matter how small the amount is. It could be $10 a week. It could be $5 a month. What matters is the gesture, not the amount. Saving is an act of command. It is saying to the money, you will stay. You will work for me. And this attitude changes everything, because contrary to what it may seem, saving is not about cutting out pleasures. It's about creating margin, creating space. It's about building the foundation of your freedom. Many people ask, but what if I save first and then I have nothing left for anything? And that's the point. If that happens, the problem isn't in the habit of saving. The problem is in everything else. It's in the lifestyle that costs more than you can afford. It's in the automatic choices, in the invisible pattern that sucks your money without asking permission. Saving is resistance. It's you saying, I'm in charge here. It's the first step to having capital, and capital is what separates those who depend on the next paycheck from those who build freedom over time. Without this habit, all other plans go up in smoke. And now comes an even more uncomfortable truth. Saving alone isn't enough. The next law explains why saving too much can protect but never multiply. And that's where most people stop, while millionaires accelerate. Saving is essential, but leaving money sitting in the same place for months or years is like planting a seed and then covering it with concrete. It won't grow, no matter how much you want it to. Without the right soil, without water, without light, that seed will die right there. With money, it's the same. The third law of real wealth is clear. All money needs a mission, and that mission is not just to stay put. It's to grow. It's to multiply. It's to produce more money. Many people believe that saving in a savings account or leaving everything sitting in a checking account is enough to be safe. But that's a dangerous illusion, because what sitting still is, in practice, decreasing. Inflation silently erodes purchasing power. A dollar today won't buy the same things it did 5 years ago. And 5 years from now, it will be worth even less. Millionaires know this. They don't let their money sleep. They put every bit of it to work. Whether it's investing in stocks, funds, real estate, startups, your own business, or even ideas that can yield returns in the medium and long term. It's not luck, it's strategy. It's understanding that money is like an employee. If it doesn't have a function, it becomes idle, useless, wasting time and opportunities. And the most curious thing, often those who have little money believe that it's not worth investing with little. This is one of the biggest mistakes, because investing is not just about multiplying value, it's about multiplying your mindset. Every time you put an amount, no matter how small, into something that can grow, you train yourself to think like someone who builds wealth, and not like someone who just survives. Idle money is dying money, and no one gets far with an inactive army. Now comes one of the most invisible, but also most powerful rules. It explains why some people take off financially, while others live forever running after something, even when they try just as hard. The fourth law is one of the most ignored because it doesn't attract attention. It has no flash or great emotions. But those who master this law end up accumulating what most only dream of having. Wealth is not an event. It's a habit. It's easy to get excited about an unexpected bonus, an inheritance, or an investment that once yielded a good return. But these, in isolation, do not create freedom. A big win may even change the month, but they don't change your destiny. Because what really changes the game is the disciplined repetition of the right actions. It's investing every month, even if it's a small amount. It's monitoring your own numbers, even when everything seems stable. It's doing the basics well for a long time, without giving up. What separates those who build wealth from those who spend their lives putting out financial fires is consistency. And the strangest thing is that this consistency seems boring. It has no excitement, no euphoria, no adrenaline that so many people seek with bets, risky trades, or crazy ideas for easy money. Millionaires, for the most part, love the boredom of good habits. They know that it is there, in that silent repetition, that great fortunes take shape. They follow their plans when the market is rising and also when it is falling. They understand that the value of time, combined with discipline, has a power that few people can see. This consistency does not depend on luck. It depends on decision. And that is liberating, because it means that anyone with any income can get started. The amount invested may be small today, but what counts is not the size. It is the frequency, it is the rhythm, it is the persistence to continue when everyone else stops. And the most impressive thing is that over time, this consistency becomes light, because it becomes part of who you are. And when that happens, money begins to align itself with your life, not as something distant or scarce, but as a natural consequence of good choices made every day. Now comes a law that completely dismantles what schools, society, and even some parents teach about work and money. An uncomfortable truth, but one that needs to be said. This is one of the most uncomfortable truths about money, and perhaps one of the hardest to accept, especially for those who grew up hearing that effort always pays off. But the real world is crueler. Those who work harder don't always earn more. Because effort without direction is like rowing hard in a leaky boat. It may seem like you're moving forward, but you're slowly sinking. Millionaires understand something that many have ignored for years. It's not just about working hard. It's about working strategically. It's about making the right effort in the right place, with a focus on building assets. What does this mean in practice? It means stopping exchanging time for money as the only way to make a living. It means creating something that continues to generate value, and consequently money, even when you're not there. It could be a YouTube channel, an app, a course, an online store, a brand, a book, a system. It could be a rental property, an automated platform, a website with recurring traffic. The formats vary, but the central idea is the same: to build something that works independently. Millionaires ask themselves this question constantly: how can I make money without having to be there all the time? The answer doesn't come overnight, but those who start looking for it are already one step ahead. Unfortunately, most people spend their entire lives trying to run faster on the treadmill. They work overtime, accumulate responsibilities, accept overload, without realizing that the real path is to get off the treadmill and build a road. And the most curious thing is that in many cases, those who build assets don't even seem to be working that hard. But the results they reap over the years are exponential, because they planted in the right place. Because they created something that doesn't depend exclusively on brute force, but on applied intelligence. You will understand one of the most ignored rules about money, and at the same time, one of the most powerful. It is the principle that transforms knowledge into real wealth, even without the need for diplomas or titles. There is a silent pattern among people who accumulate true wealth. They are hungry to learn. And it is not the kind of learning that stops when school ends. It is the kind of learning that never stops, that adapts, that expands with each new phase of life. The sixth law is clear. Those who want to earn more need to know more and apply more. The right knowledge, when used well, is worth millions. And that is why millionaires do not see books, courses, or mentoring as expenses. They see them as investments with direct returns. Many of them invest thousands of dollars every year in continuing education, not because they are lost, but because they understand that the world changes too quickly to depend only on what they already know. And this applies to any phase of life. The financial, technological, and business world is constantly evolving. New tools, innovative business models, different strategies. Those who stand still lose. Those who learn rise. And here comes the hard part. Most people say they don't have time to study, but in practice, there is time to continue in the same cycle. There is time to work 40 hours a week for a salary that doesn't grow. There is time to watch entire series. There is time to complain. But there is no time to invest in your own mind. Learning doesn't have to be academic. It can come from short books, videos, podcasts in the car, conversations with people who are one step ahead. The important thing is not the form, but the consistency. Each new idea applied is an advantage. Each new perspective can open doors that didn't even exist before. And here's a powerful detail. Learning is the only investment that no one can take away from you. Money can be stolen. Possessions can be lost. But what's inside your mind goes with you wherever you go. And that's what allows you to start over, innovate, adapt, and continue growing even when everything changes around you. Leave a like below and subscribe so you don't miss any strategies that really change the game. There's a common mistake among those who are starting to accumulate wealth, thinking that the only priority is to grow, grow, and grow. But the truth is that those who do not protect what they already have will not keep it for long. The seventh law is straightforward. Wealth without protection becomes an easy target. People with a long-term mindset know that making money is one step. Conserving it is another, completely different, and equally important, because the world is full of unforeseen events, crises, human errors and traps that can erode the wealth built with years of effort. That is why millionaires protect their finances. They have well-structured insurance, life, health, property, civil liability, not because they expect the worst, but because they prepare for it. They diversify their investments among different assets, sectors, and even countries. They do not leave all their money in a single stock. in a single business or in a single source of income, because they know that excessive concentration increases the risk of a total collapse. Another essential point: bad debts. Millionaires treat toxic debts as if they were poison. They avoid high-interest loans, unnecessary installment purchases, and uncontrolled credit cards as much as possible. They understand that compound interest works for or against, and they don't accept that the same interest that could generate wealth ends up draining their income. In addition, the wealthy invest in legal protection. Many have business structures designed to reduce legal risks. Separating personal and professional assets is more than just bureaucracy. It's about financial survival. Even in good times, this mentality persists, because anyone who has seen what a failure to protect themselves can cause, a health crisis, a lawsuit, a catastrophic loss of capital, knows that prevention is worth much more than cure. Real wealth is not just a question of how much you earn. It's also about how much you can keep, even in the face of the unexpected. This is one of the most common and dangerous traps on the path to wealth, believing that what you see on the surface is reality. Just because someone looks rich, with expensive cars, designer clothes, and extravagant parties, doesn't mean they are truly wealthy. Often, this ostentation is a cover for a deep financial hole. True millionaires tend to be discreet. They don't spend to impress others, they spend to invest in the future. They understand that true wealth is not found in assets that lose value or temporary status, but in assets that generate income and financial freedom. While many people accumulate debt to maintain an image, paying high interest rates and living on the edge, those who really know what they are doing focus their resources on building solid assets, properties that generate rent, investments that grow over time, businesses that run themselves. This difference between appearance and reality is so powerful that it can be the dividing line between those who remain trapped in a cycle of financial problems and those who move toward true independence. There is a mistake that most people make without realizing it: underestimating time. Not the time to work or to earn money, but time itself as a precious resource, an asset that, when used well, accelerates any path to wealth. The ninth law is clear. Those who truly understand the value of time get rich faster. Millionaires know that time is limited and therefore do not waste it on tasks that can be delegated or automated. They outsource simple activities that take up hours of the day, such as taking care of the house, scheduling appointments, or even answering repetitive emails. This frees up space to focus on what really matters: planning, investing, creating. In addition, they develop the powerful habit of saying no to distractions, be they social media, unproductive conversations, or even activities that drain energy without bringing real returns. Learning to protect your time is like putting up a shield against distraction, because every minute wasted is money that is not being generated. One thing that few understand is that making money does require time. But spending that time wisely, choosing where to invest effort and energy, is what turns work into real wealth. The mindset that values time above all else is what separates those who are stuck in tiring jobs from those who build multiple sources of income and financial freedom. This article will reveal the financial decision most ignored by those who live in a tight spot, and at the same time, the one most applied by those who achieve success. This simple choice could be the turning point you didn't know about yet. Buying a beautiful, spacious home is a common dream, but this decision can be a financial trap if made at the wrong time or without planning. The 10th law is simple and straightforward. Housing is not an investment. It is a cost. Many end up stuck for decades in a property that consumes a large part of their monthly income, between payments, taxes, renovations, and maintenance. This commitment can prevent people from investing in more profitable and flexible opportunities. Millionaires see this issue differently, They carefully evaluate the opportunity cost, that is, what they are giving up by investing a large part of their money in the home, instead of investing in businesses, stocks, or other assets. They also consider interest and hidden costs, such as unexpected repairs, insurance, fees, and even the time spent managing the property. This careful analysis allows them to make decisions like true business people, who seek the best return for every dollar spent, and not like consumers who buy for status or emotion. For those who know about money, living well is not synonymous with spending a lot, but rather with optimizing costs and preserving financial freedom to grow. Buying your dream home at the right time with balance is a strategy. Buying impulsively and overextending yourself is a mistake that can cost you years of delay on the road to financial independence. There is a huge amount of confusion about debt, and this confusion is what keeps many people financially trapped. The 11th law is fundamental. Not all debt is bad. Millionaires know how to use debt to their advantage. They don't avoid debt out of fear, but rather choose it strategically to create wealth. On the other hand, most people use debt to sink themselves deeper. Good debt is debt that buys assets, things that generate money. For example, a rental property, a franchise, or even an investment that can be financed and then return a profit. These debts act as levers that make money work for you. Bad debt, on the other hand, is debt that buys liabilities, items that lose value and do not generate a financial return. New cars, financed trips, expensive electronics, or designer clothes are classic examples. These debts not only drain money, but also limit the ability to invest. The big difference between the two is cash flow. Good debt brings money into your pocket. Bad debt only takes money away, like a weight that pulls you down. Knowing this difference is what turns the fear of debt into a powerful tool for getting rich, because the issue is not avoiding debt, but choosing which debts to take on. We will reveal how the rich buy expensive goods, like cars or real estate, without harming their financial future, always maintaining the freedom to grow and invest. This mindset is one of the biggest keys to financial success that few people talk about. One of the biggest differences between those who get stuck in the paycheck cycle and those who build real wealth is how they handle their money. Millionaires don't buy luxury cars or spend big using their hard-earned salaries. They let their money work for them first. This is the 12th law. Never spend the principal, but rather the fruits it generates. The invested capital, the money you saved and invested, must remain intact and grow, while the income, interest, dividends, rent or profits, is what you use to pay your expenses and fulfill your desires. Imagine an investment fund that generates $1,000 a month. That is your spending budget. The original amount stays there, protected and growing, multiplying over time. This discipline may seem simple, but it is what separates those who live off passive income with freedom from those who depend on active earnings, always vulnerable to crises and unforeseen events. When money starts working for you, instead of you working for money, your financial life changes completely. You stop exchanging time for money and gain the freedom to invest in opportunities, leisure activities, or new projects. This rule requires patience and control because it is tempting to touch the main thing to solve immediate problems. But those who master this law build a wealth that lasts generations and opens doors to a real life without financial constraints. The 13th law shows something simple but powerful. The environment you live in can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy on the journey to wealth. The people you spend the most time with directly influence your attitudes, your beliefs, and consequently your bank account. Frequent conversations, shared habits, even the tone of the messages you hear can change the way you view money, risk, and success. Millionaires know this and choose their circles very carefully. They don't just seek friends, but mentors, partners, and colleagues who have already faced the same challenges and achieved real results. Being around people who have already achieved what you want to achieve creates a mirror effect. You start to think like them, act like them, and inevitably achieve what they have achieved. In addition, this environment promotes constant learning and the exchange of valuable insights that are not in the books. It's like entering a success laboratory where ideas turn into actions and actions turn into results. If you want to change your financial life, one of the first changes you need to make is not in your budget, but in the people and environment you choose to live and learn. The 14th law reveals a secret that many people ignore. True wealth is born from a powerful reason, a purpose that goes beyond simply accumulating money. Those who have a strong why can weather the storms, doubts and distractions that appear along the way. It is this purpose that keeps motivation alive, even when results are slow to appear or when everything seems to conspire against them. Millionaires know that money without meaning is just a number in the bank. What really drives them is the freedom to spend time with those they love, the impact they want to leave on the world, or the legacy they want to build for future generations. This why creates discipline and focus. It transforms sacrifices into investments, mistakes into learning, and challenges into steps to success. Without a clear purpose, it is easy to get lost in the routine, temptations, or excuses that sabotage any financial plan. If your goal is not clear, every effort can seem futile, and the temptation to give up grows every day. But with a strong motive, you don't just survive, you grow, and really grow. The 15th law, and undoubtedly the most challenging of the laws, reveals the truth that few want to hear. Waiting for motivation to arrive is the surest way to fall behind. Motivation is fleeting, volatile, and depends on mood and circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is constant. It is the silent engine that keeps you moving forward even on the most difficult days. Millionaires don't wait until they feel like making decisions that will impact their future. They do what needs to be done, regardless of fatigue, doubts, or the temptation to give up. They know that financial freedom is not born from a stroke of luck or a magical moment, but rather from patient construction, step by step, day after day. This repetition of the right actions, even when there is no motivation, creates a powerful cumulative effect that transforms small attitudes into great results. Discipline not only keeps you focused on your goals, but also strengthens your mind to resist distractions that arise along the way. Those who master this law can break cycles of frustration and build a life where money works for them and not the other way around. Now that these 15 laws are clear, the big question is, which of them are being ignored right now? Because deep down, breaking these rules is costly. It's not just about losing money. It's about losing time, opportunities, freedom, and even peace of mind. If this video brought you value, leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving content that really makes a difference. Remember, you don't have to be a genius to achieve wealth, but those who choose to ignore the rules stay exactly where they are. See you in the next video.